and today we're taking a look at how to make sausages. This is a process that anyone could do at home. You can do homemade beef sausages, pork sausages, turkey sausages, or chicken sausages. The great thing about making your own sausages, not only you get superhuman powers and sometimes magical powers, you know from the beginning what went into the sausage. And you can always mix it up however you want. If you want to make it super lean or put some fat on that baby. Now, let's go ahead and take those superpowers and make some sausages. And the first thing that we want to do is refrigerate the meat for half an hour or an hour before cutting it. We always want to keep the meat under 45 degrees Fahrenheit. So having the meat under that temperature is going to keep it safe, and also you're going to have a better grind. And doing it cold is also going to provide you a better quality cut, which is also going to equal to a better tasting meat. We want to cut the meat in 1-inch or 2-inch cubes or 1-inch strips. You can place the meat on the fridge meanwhile we make the seasoning. Now that we cut the meat in cubes or strips, we want to season the meat and let it marinate on the seasoning for at least 4 to 24 hours. But this is all up to you. If you want to do it right away, you can as well. And even if you want to add the seasoning after you ground it, you can also. Remember, you are Thanos. You know it doesn't matter how I pronounce it. We all know what you could do with your fingers. Here we have 2 marinades. We have the sweet Italian sausage, which you would need 3 pounds of pork, 2 garlic cloves, 2 tablespoons of fennel seeds, 3 tablespoons of fresh parsley, 2 1/4 teaspoons of kosher salt, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and 2 tablespoons of dry white wine. And remember, you could always use powdered ingredients or dry ingredients. And you can always substitute the meat for any other kind of meat. We have the chorizo seasoning, which calls for 3 pounds of meat, 3 garlic cloves, 2 tablespoons of ancho chili powder, 1 tablespoon of paprika, 1 tablespoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, half a teaspoon of black pepper, and 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And remember, the fresher the ingredients, the better. Let's go ahead and take our seasoning and season the meat. And we're going to mix it in very well. If you choose to season the meat after grounded, you can as well. Leaving it overnight, it's going to give it a better flavor. Now we can cover the meat or place it in a plastic bag and leave it to marinate 4 to 24 hours. And let's say you want to do sausages tomorrow, that means you can't prepare the meat today. But if you want to do everything right now, you can. Remember that movies are made because of you. Now, let's go ahead and take out our meat grinder. In our case, we're using the Cuisinart stand mixer meat grinder attachment. Remember that everything shown on the video, we'll leave a link in the description. But any machine that you use will work just fine. Let's go ahead and place our plate, either coarse or medium. We like to use the coarse one for our pork and beef, and we like to use our medium one for chicken and turkey. But remember, you are the captain of your operation. Safety is the #1 thing. When changing plates or cleaning your meat grinder, you want to have it off and unplugged. And we say this if you like your fingers. Let's go ahead and place part of our meat on the tray. We can go ahead and plug our machine, turn it on. Let's go ahead and push some meat down the hatch. Once it's full, we can now gently push it down with the pusher. The great thing about grinding your own meat is that you know what you're eating, and you can't get fresher than that. From buying the meat to grounding the meat to making sausages. After you ground your meat, you can leave it on the fridge for 2 days. If you want to leave it longer than that, then you're going to have to freeze your meat. If you chose not to marinate the meat, you can go ahead and season the ground meat now. This is a time now that you could heat up a skillet or a pan and take a piece of the ground meat and verify if the seasoning is good. If you feel is missing anything, you can go ahead and add it. Let's go ahead and place our meat back on the fridge for 30 minutes. And this is going to give us time to clean the casing. If you have leftover bread, once you finish grounding the meat, you can use the bread to pass it through the machine so it could better clean the inside. This is optional. We prefer to toast that bread, put some cheese and ham on it, and call it a day. But however you use your bread is up to you. In today's video, we're using hog casings, but you can use any casing that you want. And what we're gonna do is take the casings out the bag and clean them. We're gonna soak them in water for 10 minutes. Then we're gonna rinse them 3 times and then only take out the ones that we're gonna use. We usually take out 2 per package of meat. It all depends. Sometimes we use 1, 1.5, or 2 of them. The ones that you're not gonna use, just soak them in salty water, drain out the water, place them back in the bag in the fridge. And depending on the manufacturer, they can last on the refrigerator from 6 months to 2 years. We're gonna let them soak in warm water for 30 minutes. And we separate them like this because this is gonna make it a lot easier for next time we use them. And this is something that you're gonna learn on how much you're gonna need with the experience, because not all casings are the same length, or sometimes they don't behave the same. Now we're gonna take the 2 casings that we're gonna use per package of meat and rinse the inside. What we want to do is let the water flow for a few seconds so they can be ready to use. Now that half an hour has passed, we can bring the meat back to the working station. Remember first that safety is the #1 thing. You want to unplug the stand mixer before removing or placing a new attachment. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the sausage maker part. We're going to use the wrench to loosen the ring, then remove the metal plate and place the plastic plate. We're going to place our nozzle. As you can tell, the different sizes of the nozzle would give you a different sausage size. So if you want to do small sausages, then we're going to use the small sausage nozzle. If you want to do bigger regular size sausages, then you can use the bigger one. If you want to do medium size sausages like hot dogs, then you want to use the bigger one, but let the meat flow faster. Now let's go ahead and take a little bit of oil or water and grease the nozzle. This is going to make it easier for the casing to go in. Also, to make the casing go in a little bit more smoother, leaving them in water before placing them is the way to go. And we want to leave around 6 to 10 inches of casing outside of the nozzle. And this is going to give us room to make the knots and also the holes for the air to escape. And you can do this with a toothpick, with a knife, or anything that you can use to make a small hole. You want to place a bowl or a pan to catch the sausages as they're being made. Now we can remove the meat from the refrigerator and bring it to the workstation. As you can tell, making the hole lets the air come out. Now we're ready to put some meat on the casing. We're going to place our hand at the end of the nozzle to create a little bit of pressure. What we want to do is control the way the meat and the casing come out. The tighter the grip, the bigger the sausage. The looser the grip, the smaller the sausage, but you can also get more air on the sausage. This is something that you're going to play with until you feel to your conditions works best. And this part, if you have an extra hand that can help you, would make the process a lot easier. At the end, we also want to leave 6 inches to 10 inches to make the knot. If you're going to do links, you want to leave space from the meat to the knot, so when you twist them, they won't break on you. But if you're not doing links, you can make the knot the closest to the meat. If you still have casing left, we would follow the same rule of leaving 6 to 10 inches and just cutting the casing off. And then with the remaining casing, we would do the same thing we did with the other ones. Put them in a salt water bath for a couple of minutes, then drying them out and placing them back in the bag on the refrigerator. Now you can cook your sausages, or for better flavor, you can place them on the refrigerator for 6 hours uncovered on a flat surface and turning them around in the 3rd hour. Once you're ready to cook them, we want to take the toothpick or whatever tool you have and make holes on the sausages. This is going to let the excess air come out. Also, when they're cooking, it's going to let the grease come out and not have them burst. If we're going to make links to the sausages, what we want to do is where we're going to twist the sausage, create a little bit of space, then twisting the first sausage to one side, and then when we get to the second sausage, we twist to the opposite side, and we do this until we get to the end. If a sausage breaks on you, don't worry, you can cook it in the pan or in the grill just like that. Just remember to be a little bit more careful with that one, and that's it. If you're going to cut the links, you want to make sure you cut it in the middle of the link. And also, don't worry if they open a little bit. It is totally normal if it happens. Being cold, they're not going anywhere. Now you're ready to cook. You can place them in a hot pan in the oven, or in our case, we're going to smoke them. And I mean in the grill. And we're going to do some hickory wood. We're going to flip them 1 hour in. In total time, it only took us about 3 hours. Once we got the desired temperature, they were ready. Depending on the meat is the time that it's going to take. Chicken and turkey are going to cook a lot faster than pork and beef. Then we let them rest for 10 to 15 minutes. Now you can call yourself the family and friends sausage maker. Now you have the power. Go ahead and create that sausage. And if you go ahead and make your sausage, go ahead and let us know on the comments below how it went. Don't forget, if you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up. That really helps. If you have any questions, place them in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, follow us on social media. Thank you for watching, and here's a link to our latest video.